Hello and welcome to LastDartTV. Alex Mack here. I'm making this video a couple of days before the second most prestigious tournament on the PDC calendar starts. It starts on Saturday the 18th of July at 7 p.m. and it is of course the World Matchplay in Blackpool and the iconic Winter Gardens. Tremendous tournament. It's one of the players' favourites, apparently, although I just saw Barney on the PDC podcast. He said it was way too hot, and he used to practice by turning up his heating in his house, so he'd be sweating and stuff like that. So it obviously gets very, very hot on stage, but it is a tremendous tournament. You may or may not already know, but it's an elite field. So whereas the World Championship does try and include absolutely everybody, the World Match Play is not the same thing. So it's going to start with 32 of the best. You take the top 16 in the PDC World Ranking, and then the top 16 in the Pro Tour Ranking. Now there's going to be a little bit of overlap, so if you qualify twice, that space kind of bumps down in the Pro Tour list. So it's not exactly 16 plus 16. There's some lower ranked players in there. It's knockout, so you get seeded. The top 16 players get seeded, and then they meet as you would expect in the last 16, 116, 215, etc., etc. I don't think Barney was saying all the times he played, the top 8 never made it into the quarterfinal. And it's almost guaranteed, I would say even straight away, probably on the first afternoon. There's 4 matches on the Saturday evening. It's going to be afternoon for me. Hopefully I can watch it. But there are some really, really good players in this tournament. We're going to go through the draw at the end. I'm going to try and make some predictions, talking about recent form and stuff. Yeah, a couple of more details about the tournament first off. Phil the Power Taylor won it 16 times, which is just really unbelievable. And then when he retired in 2018, they named the trophy after him. So this is for the Phil Taylor Trophy in the World Match Play. He owned the tournament. He beat people. It's leg format. So going into format, and this is a really important part, and why you can maybe use a little bit of your knowledge about the players to try and predict what's going to happen. So in a leg game, you know, a hot player, a hot scorer can just run away with it. A 6-7 minute burst of averaging, you know, these guys are unbelievable, averaging 125 or something. That could be a 4-5 leg burst that just pushes them through, or gets them to the end, or gets them back in the game, or whatever the combination is. So the games are long enough to have loads of stuff happen, basically. I didn't say that very well. But when it's best of 19, like it is in the first round, I'm just looking at the rounds. So best of 19 in the first round, best of 21 in the second round, best of 31 in the quarterfinal. So if you don't know what's best of, I don't get it, you can say that's first to 10, first to 11, and first to 16 in the quarterfinals. It is then first to 17 in the semis and first to 18 in the finals. So you're talking about having to win tons and tons and tons of leg, sustained brilliance. There's no luck involved. Okay, these are the best players, and they are going to be playing tremendously, tremendously well. They have a rule where you have to win by 2 clear. What does that mean? If it's 9-9, okay, in the first round is a best of 19 match, so there's 19 legs available, but is there? If it's 9-9 and then the player wins 10-9, they've played all 19 legs, but they've not won by 2. They've not got to that winning mark of 10 in the first round, for example, by 2. So you play, you play, you play. There's also a limit on that. Much as who was involved, John Eisner, and the French dude in Wimbledon, I think that fifth set finished 70-68. and John Eisner won and then just basically couldn't play in the next round. You do get these extremely long matches. They've actually capped it, so there's 6 extra legs, and then that final leg will be a sudden death leg. So in the first round, which is coming up first, if it gets to 12-12, you get that sudden death leg. I should probably know this. Do they bull or reball or not bull? That'll be interesting to see. My information didn't say it. The winner gets a lot of money. The winner gets £225,000, which, I mean, compared to other sports and the skill that they've got, is not enough. That's probably a debate for another day. But this is actually a boost of 25 grand from last year, so quite a big pay rise. This is also having other effects in other tournaments. We can probably talk about that in another video. What am I talking about is the top players win these tournaments almost all the time, and they win these massive chunks of money. And in the ranking system, pounds mean points. All right, so these big guys who are, Luke Little is over 2 million, and then you go further down the rankings, and 10 grand or 20 grand can sometimes separate 5 or 6 players, and that puts you in or out of certain thresholds for certain tournaments and stuff. So most of the PDC players, the tour card holders, are trying to get into these upper echelons, whether it's top 64, top 32, top 24, top 20. There's lots of different tournaments that have different little boundaries for where you need to get in, and they are constantly jockeying for position. But the top guys, because they win the big tournaments, and the purses for the big tournaments are so much bigger than almost all the other tournaments, they don't necessarily want to play in a lot of these smaller tournaments because it's just not really worth it to them. So there's been a debate going on at the moment. Is that good for the game? We've just seen Krzysztof Ratajski winning in Europe when some of the big boys weren't there. Is this good for the game? Is this bad for the game? Like most arguments, there's good and bad things each way. Everyone wants to see Luke and Luke finals regularly, and that's absolutely fine. Or is it better that Luke and Luke finals are more spread out and they take place in more prestigious tournaments? If it's a Players' Championship in Leicester and Luke are playing, that's still a really cool game, but you want to see them maybe on the stage on the final day in Blackpool in a week or so for a much bigger prize fund, on stage, tons of people watching, etc. Anyway, that is that. So prize money. Let's talk about the players, who is in and who is out. I'm not going to read all the names. Probably a big name that you might know if you are a darts follower but not super following darts is that Peter Wright, Snakebite Wright, will not be playing. He didn't make it. He had a very long run of making it into the tournament. Dave Chisnell made it in the very last players tournament. I think the difference was £750. So maybe one match here, one match there. Oh, I should have mentioned, by the way, the reason that this is maybe an even better tournament is that the PDC World Rankings, that top 16, is based on 2 years' money. So this running 2 years money. I might do a rankings video if you're not familiar, but after 2 years, that money that you won comes off. But the Pro Tour rankings is just 1 year. So the world rankings are kind of more established players, but the Pro Tour rankings, if you've had a very good year, for example, means that you spring into this top 16 on the Pro Tour. And depending on if you're like number 1 on the Pro Tour, you'll get in. But if you're a little bit lower down, because of the replication of the top players having places in both lists, you might be able to get into that 1 year list for the Pro Tour rankings. All right, having a look at the schedule, Saturday 18th of July, I believe it's 7 p.m. UK time, so that will be about midday for me on Saturday. Hopefully I'll be able to make it. It kicks off with Josh Rock versus Luke Woodhouse, which should be an absolutely tremendous game. I'm not going to go in schedule order. I just want to have a look at the bracket to start with. If it's not on the screen as I posted this video, I still can't figure out how to work anything out on a computer. But I'm sure if you've been looking forward to this tournament, you'll have seen a draw. So in the top half, Luke Littler takes on Nico Springer. Harsh draw. I think these leg tournaments, these straight leg tournaments, really play into Littler's hands. It's just bang, 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 high scoring, high finishing, and just doing it again, and again. Luke Littler, in the still very, very short time he's been on the tour, has just been absolutely monstrous in these sorts of things. He is he's not the defending champion. He had a rough go, I think, his first year. Who did he play? I can't remember. But I think he's going to win. So straight off, this is my pick. I do like maybe Luke Humphries a little bit more, but I think Luke Littler is going to win this, and I think he might win it fairly easily, to be honest. So Nico Springer, tremendous young German player. He had a good result the other week. But I think he's going to be outshot. I will also say, because it's this tournament and everyone is really, really good, in some ways there are no real true surprises. That would be a surprise, but in some ways it will be, if Springer's going to win that game, he's going to win it with 104, and Littler's going to average 103 or something, and it's just going to be a few moments here and there. I think if you play that game long enough, though, Luke Littler is going to win that pretty much every time. Next down, number 16 seed Nathan Aspinall plays Joe Cullen. Nathan Aspinall still struggling. Well, not struggling. I mean, he plays amazing. He seems to have got this system where he's built in the dartitis into his routine. So you see him go forward, he doesn't release it, he resets, and then he just seems to smack it into the treble 20. I mean, really quite amazing. Joe Cullen, very, very good player. I will pick Aspinall in that one, but there's no real surprises if Cullen wins that one. Josh Rock and Luke Woodhouse. I mean, these are first round matches. Luke Woodhouse has been one of the best players probably in the last, I don't know, where are we, 3 months or something. He won a title. Josh Rock had that very, very rough Premier League. I think he's going to want to shake that off. I think this also suits his sort of game. Quickly, long games, bish, bash, bosh, lots of scoring, lots of finishing. I'll take Rock in that one, but Luke Woodhouse can all average like 104, 105 semi-regularly, and especially under pressure, these guys can just produce unbelievable stuff. There are 4 new players. I should have said that maybe before. There are 4 debutants. William O'Connor, the Magpie, who has been on the tour absolutely ages. I think it's his 15th season or something. This is the first time he's made it into the draw. So he would be what they call on the right side from the Pro Tour, right? So he's never got into the top 16 as a ranking. So the only way you can get in is through the Pro Tour. I think he's been close before, but he's been playing more solidly and more with less stress. He always felt it was such a stress for him when he used to play, but he's just kind of monstrous scoring sometimes, and then just bish bash bosh, and the stress that I think used to cause him problems a few years ago seems to have disappeared. So he's almost a completely different player. You got a couple of Nico Springer is also a debutant, by the way. So in his first tournament in the Winter Gardens in Blackpool, he's playing the number 1 seed in Luke Littler. So that is a harsh draw. The other debutants being Neil Zonnefeld, a very kind of smooth left-hander. He's had a tremendous season so far, very, very much improved, but maybe the most improved, and I would say some kind of dark horse, honestly, the way he's been playing, if he can produce it on the stage at the right time, is Kevin Dutz. He he has been skyrocketing up. I mean, all these young guys. We'll talk about Wessel Nyman later on, but Kevin Doots. I think I said in my previous video for the World Cup, I would have, if you could just pick it on form, I would have put Nyman and Doots in for the Dutch team. I think they were playing the best at the time, and they would have had the best chance of winning. And it wouldn't surprise me. Maybe not next year, maybe in 2 years. You never know. MVG, I love the guy, but I'm not sure. I always back him. Anyway, let's move on. So yes, Stephen Bunting is playing Niels Zonneveld. I think Bunting a win. He's absolutely quality. He's a world-class operator on the big stage. But Niels Zonneveld, I think he'll get some really, really good experience from this. He'll realise, oh, I'm up in the upper echelon now. That's why I'm in this tournament. But I don't think he's going to have quite enough this time. MVG versus Andrew Gilding. Andrew Gilding is good in this tournament. He's got to the quarters, I think, the last 2 times. MVG is you never quite know what you're going to get. I think he's absolutely capable of winning 5 games, 5 matches in a row to win the tournament, really, quite honestly. Whether he can get that consistency is probably the biggest question. I will say, a lot of people saying, oh, Gilding, blah, blah, blah. I think MVG is going to really, really smash Andrew Gilding. I really do. He, at least in that first game, because he sees his bracket, and I think he says, well, I can at least get to the semis and then see what happens against most likely Littler. Dobie versus Van Duijvenbode, both playing really, really well recently. I would say Van Duijvenbode probably playing a little bit better results-wise, even though Dobie is the 13th seed. Again, very, very, very good players. I wouldn't even want to choose that, honestly. I think it's going to be a close one. So when you go first to 10, you occasionally get your 10-2s and your 10-3s, but not very often. It's more like the 6, 7, 8 chunk. So I would be thinking either way round, something like a 10-8 in that game. Johnny Clayton, the Ferret, one of my favourite players, if not my favourite, is playing Damon Heta, who I also like. You feel like Damon might have got further and won something a few years ago when you feel like he was playing better. He seems to get there and not quite get through, and he loses these very, very close, amazing, very, very high quality matches. Tremendous player. I've got to take Clayton in that one. Gary Anderson versus Ryan Joyce. Tough season for Ryan Joyce so far, but high-class operator, can throw at a world-class level for a long time. You're playing Gary Anderson. He's on the... to use an American term, you've got to be on the Mount Rushmore of darts already. Can still produce an unbelievable standard. I would take Anderson in that just for maybe a bit of experience in Joyce's season so far, but you never know. Bottom half of the draw, Luke Humphreys versus another one of my favourites, Cameron Menzies, who is new and improved. He had that incident in the World Championship with the flames and the hand. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It was slightly concerning. Luke Humphreys, obviously just tremendous, tremendous, tremendous player. I've got to take Humphreys in this one. I think you need a Humphreys quite off day and a Menzies really, really on day for him to win 10 legs before Luke. I could see it going close. I can also see it not being close at all. It really depends on how it starts off. Cameron needs to probably be ahead after the first chunk of legs. Again, first round match. Oh my goodness. Ross Smith versus Kevin Doots. I've just been talking about how Kevin Doots is a dark horse. He could be my dark horse. When you see the group, if Humphreys gets through, I honestly think Doots can do something. He's just tremendously consistent. He seems to be very calm. He's got this interesting throw. He brings it back, and yeah, I don't know. He's going to go somewhere. Whether again in this Niels Zonneveld style, even though I think he's got a better chance of winning. Kevin Doots might not do particularly well in this tournament, but it's the first time he's really expected to do well in a big tournament, and that's a different kind of experience. It's a different kind of pressure, and I think he'll benefit from that. Ross Smith, tremendous player. You never know what you're going to get. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I mean, he has played really, really well, probably better, not so recently, but can still produce absolutely tremendous stuff. There's going to be some 180s in that game. I mean, in potential 19 legs, you could get 15 maximums in that match. I mean, they are tremendous scorers. I will take as my dark horse pick Kevin Doots in that game, but I do like Ross Smith. I like all these guys. I mean, they're all tremendous players. All right, moving on. Gerwyn Price versus Martin Schindler. Martin Schindler has, again, had a bit of a rough one. Gerwyn Price, I just feel like he hasn't played that much, but I've got to take this guy. He's unbelievable. When I first saw him at the beginning of this season, I thought, oh, this is going to be a Gerwyn Price season, when he's just scoring tremendously highly like he does, and then he just hits tops like every single time. It's just unbelievable. If we get that version, I think he could go far as anybody else. If he's a little bit off, he has shown to be a little bit off from his world-class standards sometimes, and Schindler's a world-class operator. All these guys are. So I'll take Price, but again, no real surprises. Danny Noppert versus Rob Cross. Rob Cross had to qualify through the Pro Tour rankings as he had a bit of a slip. Danny Noppert, one of the most consistent players on the tour. Rob Cross, big tournament guy. Not at all a surprise if Rob Cross wins that game. He's been playing some really, really good stuff. Danny Noppert, always solid. I would take Cross in this one, to be honest. I think he's just maybe shown a little bit more recently. Gian van Veen versus Christoph Ratajski. Gian van Veen, it seems a long time ago now, but World Championship finalist, had a bit of a rough time, surgery, blah, 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 within the Premier League. He's seeded 3, but I don't think that's the strongest 3 seed I've ever seen. Ratajski might produce something. I will take Van Veen, but due to form, Ratajski winning an entire tournament recently, I think Ratajski does have a decent chance in that, needs a good start. And then seeded 14. I mean, you would almost, on form, you'd almost swap those 2 seeds. Wessel Nyman plays Dave Chisnell. Dave Chisnell getting in right at the end. Wessel Nyman has already won 8 titles this season. I think this could be, on paper, most people would say this is the chance for the biggest disparity in the score. I mean, Nyman is absolutely brutal on the trebles and the finishes, high finishes, low finishes, whatever it is. He gives that dart some welly, man. And I could see, honestly, I fear for Dave Chisnell a little bit. I could see like a 10-1 almost. If Wessel Nyman gets going early and Chisnell hasn't been playing that well, that one could be a little bit brutal. James Wade, finalist last year, was he? Year before? Versus Jermaine Watamina. I know a Dutch guy. He's been around for quite a few years, but Jermaine is playing tremendous stuff. Just got to a final on the Euro Tour, if I'm probably making loads of mistakes. Yeah, it was the Euro Tour that Ratajski won. James Wade, always good. Never bet against him. And I would say I'm not going to bet against him here. Watamina does get ultra hot, like white hot. He has done better under pressure recently than he used to. I feel like he used to get a bit cowed in the big games. So he might just, in the same way, you know, these matches are just unbelievably close on paper. He could wipe the floor with them, to be honest. You know, he can average 105 for a long time, so you just never really know. So I will take Wade on experience, but Watamina's got a tremendous chance in that game. And then right at the last match of the bottom part of the draw, number 11 seed Ryan Searle, heavy metal. I mean, everyone likes this guy. He can't really see, and the average is 103. So that's a lot of fun. and then the Magpie, who's much improved. We've already mentioned him in the video. That could be a really, really close game. I could see that going to extra time. So that is the draw. So much to look forward to. It's going to be a fantastic, fantastic tournament. You've got the best players in there, and they start playing each other straight away. I mean, these first round games are absolutely brutal. I did say Springer might lose quite easily, but that could be one of the games of the tournament, to be quite honest, in the first round against Littler. Humphreys won it last year. Is going to want to defend. I think he might get through, although there's obstacles the whole way. You're going to need to play really, really, really well 5 times in a row. I think some records are going to get broken for ton plus averages and fish and everything. This is primed to, I think, be possibly one of the closest, best match plays ever. Everyone just seems so, so, so good. And those Pro Tour guys, which sometimes used to think there was some obvious matches, I would say, apart from no disrespect to Dave Chisnell, but Wessel Nyman has just been absolutely on fire. And I don't think that one's going to be particularly close. But all the other ones, you wouldn't be that surprised if it went either way after a very, very quality affair. Okay, leave your comments in the comment section, obviously. Tell me what you think. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? Who's your dark horse? Or is Luke the Nuke just going to waltz his way to the final and then probably have a great match, whoever it is, possibly against the other Luke in the final? But I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win this tournament, and I think it might be semi-easy for him. He seems primed to just win big. He's been skipping a few tournaments, resting himself, probably getting ready for this tournament mentally for a long time. And I think the Nuke is going to explode and bomb people off the oki. Okay, nice talking to you. Leave your comments, as I've already said before. I am going to make predictions for each round as we go and have a little bit of analysis of the other matches. It's going to be a really, really fun tournament. And yeah, if you want to give me not just a prediction, not just say, oh, I disagree with this, do the whole thing, do the whole bracket and leave it in the comments. That'd be fun. Okay, this has been LastDartTV and Alex Mack. Nice to see you, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.